whatsoever. Never did. The press runs away with things. No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not. But it would be good timing. It could have taken place earlier. But no, I have no intention to fire him. I don't want to comment on that. That doesn't matter.
Mr. President, when can we expect the FTC documents?
So after all that talk about whether he would he's examining whether or not to fire, he said he has no intention of firing Powell, and that's arguably what caused yesterday's pullback, the worry that we would be destabilizing the central bank, that there'd be some questions about our credibility in the world, that we become like Turkey if we fired Jerome Powell. But here he's saying, nope. No plans.
Well, fortunately, somebody got in his ear. I mean, the two texts or whatever, a couple of days ago, I think over the weekend, his termination, and I'm paraphrasing, please don't at me, but something to the effect of his termination can't come fast enough. Now, I don't know if that was meant to be his leaving date in May of 2026 or his actual termination. I don't know, but he definitely threw it out there. Fortunately, I think somebody probably said, it's probably not going to be a great thing. We want to ratchet back a little bit. And that is a stabilizing thing.
By the way, we're looking at the after-hours action in the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, higher by 1%. NASDAQ 100 also higher by just about 1% in the after-hours on the back of these comments. So, again, being viewed very positively here.
Look, they're great headlines. They're great headlines. And clarifying that the Federal Reserve is left alone is a great thing by President Trump. And I think it's a dynamic for markets that I'm not so sure yesterday's tail-off was Powell related. I do think if you look at the dollar and you look at Treasury markets, they could have had a greater impact here. But ultimately, my sense is, and if you read strategists, economists, and market pundits everywhere, I don't think anyone was really expecting Powell to be fired. So I think market weakness is for reasons related to people worried about recession priced into stocks.
Yeah, I'll just push back at that. I mean, Kevin Hassett, his economic advisor in the White House, said they were studying whether to do it. And I don't know why you would trust this back and forth. We've seen this, he blinked on the tariff stuff. It doesn't mean that they're going to do anything any differently. So just wait. May 7th, this is going to be fireworks, man. If they don't say the sorts of things that you expect into it, I think he's going to turn it right back up.
By the way, there's some comments also about China. He says that I think we'll make a deal with China. He also has told reporters that he'd be very nice in negotiations with Beijing and that tariffs on imports from the country would fall significantly following a deal, but not to zero. So also some positive comments regarding trade, specifically with China, which would be a very important development for the markets here.
I'm just blown away. If I had told you that the United States stock market would rally because there was a reaffirmation that we were going to maintain an independent Federal Reserve, I don't even know how to wrap my mind around that. I just think the fact that
this is... But did you know we were going to be potentially restructuring the U.S. economy to reindustrialize after 150 years? I mean,
fair enough, but I think this gets at like the very lifeblood of what makes capital markets and why there is, why the United States is, why the USD is the reserve currency, why there's so much faith in government bonds, et cetera. So it just kind of blows my mind. And for me, it just speaks to the fact that I do think you should continue to see volatile trading. You're going to look to pick your spots, entry and exit points. But the fact that this is actually a trading catalyst is a bit worrisome. And I think it's something that you should take into consideration as you're sizing your positions and when you're allocating capital.
That's pretty interesting. And let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments on this. No intentions of firing Fed Chair Powell there. I think I don't know if this is intentional, but they did spell President Trump wrong here. They put President Trump here for CNBC. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. And again, let us know down below in the comments what your thoughts are.